What is up, Ravens flock? Huge shout out for your support for the 410 Sports Talk. Chance and Glenn are the best in the business. They're killing it right now. They love talking Raven talk. Make sure you go subscribe to their channel. Let's go Ravens. Big trust.
Welcome in everybody to another episode of 410 Sports Talk. I'm Glenn Martin here with James Haskell. And this episode, we're going to introduce the newest member, the newest player to the Baltimore Ravens. But before we do, give us a subscribe, give us a like. We will keep you up to date on all your Ravens news. But Jimbo, let the flock know who's the newest member of the Ravens.
That's right. The last pick, pick 184, the last pick of 2021 draft, the Baltimore Ravens select fullback / tight end, Ben Mason out of the University of Michigan. Go Blue. He's a Wolverine. And, man, I think this kid is going to be well utilized here, in the backfield and lining up outside as a tight end and special teams. We got some interesting stats that Glenn, I kind of want you to go over here, in college. But overall, he looks a lot like a smaller Project Pat. He looks like a smaller Patrick Ricard. Obviously loves the position. And I think what this does, Glenn, is this specifically, in my opinion, from a blocking standpoint, fills the role of what Hayden Hurst used to do, which I think was a much needed when he would come out of the backfield and take on some of those, not necessarily just linebackers, but the secondary players. We have to be a little more athletic to get in front of them. Mm-hmm. And linemen can, they might be a little bit too elusive for linemen. So I think that what this does is it allows us to have a guy like that can get up into that third level and take safeties out of the play and take, other defensive backs out of the play. So I'm excited for this kid. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm happy. I mean, you get him at 184 at a position where, maybe not doesn't scream need at you when you talk about obviously fullback. We got a Pro Bowler here with Pat Ricard, and then a pretty crowded room at tight end. When you talk about blocking guys, of course, Nick Boyle and Tomlinson kind of fit that mold there, but what I love about him is just his old school mentality. You're right. It's a lot like Project Pat. He played on the defensive line some, and I'm going to get into what he did in the backfield as a ball carrier, which we know the Ravens have tried to give Project Pat the ball a couple times, and it didn't always end well. Now, he's good at catching the ball in the flat, but he did cough it up when they tried to hand it to him. But what's really exciting about this is, for one, he comes out of Michigan, which, anytime we draft a player out of Michigan, I got to think we have the most in-depth scouting report as possible, with his brother being the head, with Jim Harbaugh, John's brother, being the head coach over in Michigan. Next thing I know that got me excited, his nickname, Jimbo, is Bench Press, because of his physical play and his role in special teams, which looks like he'll be an immediate contributor in that area. And also, I love this quote from him. He said, "My mental process is I'm the baddest dude on the field at all times." So that's pretty cool to hear. And then to hear that he was twice, not once, Jimbo, but twice named the toughest player on the team in his college career. So it sounds like a Raven to me. I mean, the guy that just looking to hit somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that you brought up that I kind of want to go over is that in 2018 in college, he didn't register a ton of stats in college. He's clearly here to block. He's not, a Kyle Juszczyk type guy where he's going to catch a ton of passes. Well, he could. I just saw a highlight of him hurdling a defender, look a little bit like Nick Boyle out there. Mm-hmm. But one of the things I thought was interesting in 2018, if I'm not mistaken, he had 7 touchdowns. And I'm just going to assume that these are in short yardage, goal line type scenarios. I'm sure he wasn't breaking them long. So this is interesting because we've talked about this before. But, in a short yardage situation, first of all, you got the most elusive quarterback in NFL history. Mm-hmm. And then, behind him, you got Project Pat. And then you got, say, just for an example, you got a guy like Gus Edwards, right? Now, not that I would want to replace Gus Edwards in very many scenarios, but just for deception to make the defense like, what is going on back there? You throw this kid back there behind Project Pat. You got over 500 pounds a man back there, Glenn. Over 550.
Yeah, I was going to say well over 500. Yep.
Like, man, I mean, there's a lot of things they can do with this kid. And like you said, he's obviously a much more polished carrier of the football than Patrick Ricard. So there's a lot of options there. But what about this thought? Some of these picks to me are the Ravens kind of gearing up to let some guys walk.
Well, they're looking at the future contracts coming up. Obviously, Lamar being the big one, and then I
Mark
think
Andrews is going to get a fat payday.
Yep, exactly. So they have to start looking at where they can make cuts. And I'm not saying that this is a definite or anything like that. We love Project Pat. We know what he brings as a 310-pound mobile fullback who can also play some tight end when need be, and really catches the ball pretty well out of the backfield. And obviously love the versatility and the fact that if need be, if injury bugs struck the D line, he could also go over there, and he's done that at a pretty decent level too. But yeah, this could be, eventual replacement. I mean, you just never know, but the Ravens always think 2-3 years ahead down the line, and they got to be anticipating signing Lamar Jackson. It looks like all indications are that they're going to be moving forward with that. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised at all to hear an announcement made on that before this all season is through.
Yeah.
But I just, so I think you're right. It could be a sign of that. I mean, I wouldn't be thrilled to see Project Pat leave, but this could be a cheaper replacement for him. But what's crazy about him is the versatility. You mentioned him as a running back. I was mentioning he played some D-line, but he was a top 30 linebacker recruit when he came out of high school. So, I mean, this guy can literally do it all. And classic Ravens move, he was a team captain in 2020. I mean, that if you're a Baltimore Raven, chances are you were a team captain at your college. So yeah, I'm excited to see what he's got. It's not going to be a guy that necessarily gets a lot of fans up out of their seat when they see him drafted, but it's another quality player, and that's what you need if you're building a championship. You need quality players all down the line. Even if this year he's just a contributor on special teams, that helps as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And lastly, I mean, the other thing too is that we're so reliant on the run game that we need to keep that thing a well-oiled machine, right? So like you're saying, if you're talking 2-3 years down the road, if Patrick Ricard does end up on another team, you need to have ready, prepared, replacements, because the running game is the heartbeat of our entire existence as an organization right now. It's just the way that we're built.
Yeah, and even in the short term, Jimmy, what if Project Pat got hurt? Exactly.
Right. So there's definitely, and then last thing, from a blocking perspective, Pat, Boyle, and Ben Mason on the field at once. God, that is not going to be fun for these linebackers like the Jeremiah that just got taken by the Browns. He's going to get so wallowed up. I mean,
you can run as fast as you want, but when you get hit in your mouth by 300 pounds, I mean, things change.
Any way you look, it's just great. You know, so certainly when teams zig, the Ravens zag.
That's right.
So, we're excited about it. Let us know what you guys think. Leave your comments below, and we'll talk to you guys soon.